This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode number 223. This is Beach Talk Radio, where it's apparently a lot easier to get 49 listeners than it is to get 49 signatures on the beach.
Right out of the gate.
Gotta come to you live from Peach Time Out in Times Square on Fort Myers Beach. Episode 223, going on 4 years next month. And we'll celebrate the 4th of July on the rooftop of Mangaritas on the 4th of July, which is Monday. Not next Monday, but 2 Mondays from now.
Is it really? I look cross-eyed with these glasses
Definitely,
on.
yeah.
What?
Can you cross your eyes?
Like
Wow.
that? Yeah.
That is creepy looking. Do that again. Wow. Very interesting.
It's not good.
And before we get to our first guest, we always like to thank our great sponsors and supporters who are still with us, despite the fact that my wife looks cross-eyed on the Facebook today.
I know. Maybe we could get a sponsor that does LASIK. And
When
then
you-
I wouldn't have to do this.
If you hold a mirror up to somebody that's cross-eyed, do their eyes bug out to the sides? No?
Why?
No.
No, I'm not even
Why are you
following
wearing glasses and not the
I don't know.
contacts?
I took the contacts out this morning, and
Yeah.
then I was going to put them back in.
Freaking
and
me
just,
out
you
with
know.
the
Yeah.
glasses on.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I can go and put the contacts
No, that's okay.
in. I just
And
might take me 10 minutes.
Sun Palace Vacations, Fort Myers Realty, Fort Myers Tiki Tours, Nervous Nellies, Mangaritas, State Insurance,
I can read
USA,
really
La Ola Restaurant, Coastal Vacation Properties, Tuckaway Cafe, Beach Pottery, Shuckers, the Farmers Market at Beach Baptist, Island Carts FMB, JPS Vacation Rentals, and Peach Time Out. And thank you all for your donations and your Venmos and all the support that you
Yes.
give us. It allows
Thank you.
Kim to have the lovely hair that she has, and to maybe
Apparently
someday,
now I need to get my eyes done.
maybe LASIK surgery.
Uh,
So later on in
a
the
friend
show,
of mine did that. It was her rendition, her recall of it was a little scary. So I don't know.
well, later on in the show, we're going to talk about naked pickleball, of course, because who doesn't want to hear about naked pickleball?
Me.
And the new owners of the Whale are coming, and then our friend Judge Stephen McGuire will be in to tell us about his latest novel, kill thriller that I was
Oh.
telling you about last
Right.
night. And you were a little surprised that there was so much
Yeah.
murder and mayhem in his latest book. So he's coming on at 9:30. But right now, our
I was at the Whale.
you ruined the segue there. but-
Sorry, I was at the Whale last week or the week before
Yeah.
with our good friend Christy Hennessy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
a story there, or that was
just
it?
just that I was there, and
So this morning when
just
you were
that
out,
you mentioned the Whale and
this morning when you were out on your 9-mile run,
oh,
what did you see? How about that?
lots of holes. And one hole, I sent
I
it.
showed it. It's on the Facebook already.
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It looked
sent
like
it to
somebody
Eve.
was buried in it.
No, it was probably 6 feet across at least, maybe a little more, and it was deep. And then it had like a little sitting area, like it was like a spa that someone had dug in the sand. And I was like, okay, you see holes on the beach, some holes on the beach, and the turtle probably could get over them. That they're going right in.
Yeah, they're going and they're dying right there.
Yeah.
So your dad's watching from Central Florida, and say hello to your dad.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, and I want to pre-wish every father,
Father's
including
Day.
mine, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
What are we doing for Father's Day?
We're gonna make you lunch.
What are you going to make?
Jillian,
Rice cakes and
whatever you
brown
want.
rice and
Whatever you want.
all right. Our first guest today is Melissa Rice. Melissa is coming all the way
Maybe I'll
from-
make you some rice, and then we can have Melissa Rice on.
Okay, come on down, Melissa. Melissa joins us all the way from the island of Sanibel. She had to get up early this morning to drive on over, and
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
thank
Of
you so much.
course.
We've been working on having you on the show for a while, But months back, it was about the manatees. Now,
That's right. It was about the manatees, and we had them all around Sanibel. That was one of our big fundraisers that we did.
and now we have you on for just as big a topic, workforce housing, because over on Sanibel, you figured it out over on Sanibel. What? First of all, tell us, give us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, so I'm Melissa Rice. Right now, I'm the executive director of CHR, which is Community Housing and Resources, and we provide the affordable housing on Sanibel. We've been on the island about 42 years, almost 43 years now.
That really shocked me.
Yeah.
Because that's a long time.
They had a lot of good people way back when
Yeah.
that decided we needed to make sure people could stay on the island even when prices skyrocketed like
I
they are
mean,
today.
Right. What forethought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does it work over there?
How does affordable housing work?
Yeah.
Well, it works well. I'll start with that.
Mhm.
We only have 74 rental units on the island, and that's an island that serves about 9,000 homes on the island. So it's not enough. I will say that to begin with. But the way it works for us is you have to work on the island or be a long-term island resident if you're a retired person. So that way that we can support and continue to support the people who support the island.
So is it one building? Is it houses, or how does that work?
Good question. So we're in 11 different locations.
Well, you're not letting me get one in.
I should say that more often.
to me.
It's got to be natural. It can't be.
Yeah,
It
it
can't be
can't be,
planned.
yeah.
So
I
that-
like it.
thank
I
you.
like it. So we have 11 locations throughout the island. Some of them were given to us. So over the 42 years that we've been around, the first one was donated by Sam Bailey, actually, of the Bailey's grocery store that's on the island. And that was a new house he built. And it was a cottage that had been on the beach, and it got pushed all the way down to the beach into its current location where it still runs today.
Now, is it all one bedrooms? Is there different varieties?
Good question. So we have ones, twos, and threes. So a variety of units is what we have. We have studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. Most of them, though, we have 52 of those 74 are 1 bedroom and studio units. So the majority of 52 of them are 2 bedroom units. And the majority of our need is for 1 bedroom units.
So
Do
you said.
people share?
People can share.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you said you had 74. Now is it like somebody owns a house and it's a room off the house, or it's a complete house, or
It's a complete. So they are units. Most of them, a lot of them are duplex style properties that we've built over time. Some of them are individual houses, and then we've built duplexes around them. So it's a variety, and in 11 different locations around the island. So
Now, besides just living long-term resident or working over there, what other qualifications, or how does someone become eligible?
So to become eligible for our housing, you first either work or a long-term resident, and then you have to income qualify. So
Okay.
we follow HUD guidelines. So we serve the moderate income folks, which is 120% of area median income. I usually lose people when I start talking numbers.
Well, you'll lose him because his math, as he has established,
I had
is
an
not
issue
good.
with my math a few
Oh,
weeks
okay.
ago.
Yes.
a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So we're not going to blame you. It's okay.
Thank
No
you.
judging here.
Thank you.
So
I'll judge.
Oh,
but
she's
go
going to
ahead.
judge me.
So 120% of area median income, and area median right now for a family of 4 is $67,000. So that's how much money they can make in a year and still qualify for our housing. And that's difficult to do in
Right.
today's market, especially one of the other criteria is all adults in the household need to work full time.
Oh, yeah.
They don't all have to work on Sanibel. Only one has to work on Sanibel. Somebody else can work on Fort Myers Beach, downtown Fort Myers, Captiva,
Uh-huh.
lots of different areas. So
Now, 74, does that number stay the same all the time, or are you always looking for more?
we are always looking for
Okay.
more. That number has stayed the same for about 10, almost 15
Wow.
years now. So we are looking to expand as we speak.
So,
I would say, given the current economic climate, too, like that's now even harder.
It's very difficult. And a lot of people, as you just mentioned, the economic climate. So people have come in, they've bought houses for a lot more money than they were even a year and a half ago. And now they're looking at it saying, well, how am I going to make some money on this house? They could rent it out for a lot
Right.
more
Sure.
money than what people are paying. So we're finding an influx of people calling us saying, oh my God, my rent is going up $500,
sure.
$900, even $1,500 a month. People are
Oof.
telling me. and they're struggling already. And they're saying, I just can't do that. What do I do? How do I get in your housing?
So
So-
how do you? So the houses that you have, how does the owner of the house not say to you, "Listen, I can get
They-
$3 million for this
We
house. I
own-
need."
They own.
Oh,
the
you
house.
own
We
them all.
own
I
all
see.
of the 74 units we have. We currently
I
all
see.
own. Yep.
And how much do you charge for rent?
We charge a percentage of income, which is the nationally recognized number that people should pay is 30% of your household income. So we calculate your household income based on verifications, and we charge 30%. So you can be living next to me, and I may be paying only $500 a month, but you might make a heck of a lot more, and so you're going to pay $1,000 a month.
Right.
Okay.
So
Now, what if somebody loses their job on the island? And
good question.
thank you.
I should stop saying that.
2-1.
So she was gonna say it. One of the questions I
She's
asked. I
trying
could
to- you
see
notice
she
she's
like
trying-
paused.
I
She
did, I
did.
paused.
You
She's trying not
paused.
to say
I
it.
was like, nope, she's not gonna do it.
Because I could see somebody loses their job and now they're even in more dire straits, and then they get kicked out.
No.
Oh, they
no.
don't get kicked out.
So we try to work with people because our job is to provide affordable housing for people who are in need.
Right.
So you're in need whether you have that job or you don't have that job. So we try to continue to support you with services that we have. So one of the things we have in place is that you have an 8-week time to find a new
Oh,
job.
great.
So we're not going to kick you out. We want you to actively be looking for something. And right
Right.
now in today's climate, jobs are pretty easy to get.
Yeah,
Whether
jobs
they're
are-
the one you want.
Jobs are pretty easy to get, but there's also more lazy people than there used to be.
Well-
Like it's like what do they call it? They call it the Great Resignation. Like people are quitting their jobs, and I mean, so you get 8 weeks, and then 8 weeks in one day. If they're not employed, they're out because somebody else needs that place.
Exactly. And
Thank
we
you.
have a long waiting list. So
Oh, you do?
Yes.
How many
yes.
people?
41 applicants on the waiting list right now.
All employees that work on Sanibel.
Most employees that work on Sanibel. We have a couple of retired folks that are also on the waiting list.
Oh, so you said that before.
Yeah.
Retired, you'll put them on in the
They're
housing.
retired, but they had to have lived on the island for 10 years.
10 years.
Because unfortunately, we had a lot of people from up north who thought this would be a great place to come retire, which it is for
Sure.
many of us.
Right.
But you need money on
We
Sanibel.
need money on
Yeah.
Sanibel.
Yeah. What's that all
And
about?
we need to support Sanibel. So the people that are lived on Sanibel, typically that are retired with us, have worked on Sanibel for a long time and just got priced out of their house where they were.
Right.
And so they're looking for their next option too.
So does
So-
the house ever come for sale and then you start like trying to buy it?
We have done that in the past.
Does
yes.
it ever work? I mean, I
Um,
can't imagine it works out very often on Sanibel.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you operate on donations
Can you
or?
let me ask a question?
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
you were
that
here.
was one of
Sorry,
my
I didn't know. I
questions.
didn't know you want to participate
No.
today. I'm just waiting. You see, there's a
Before-
pregnated pause after each answer, which is you kind of
No,
me
no, no,
kind of
no.
saying, okay, if you want to ask the
you're
question,
all
you can
like,
ask the question.
You've had way too much coffee.
You two are so cute. Can I just say that?
Oh,
Cute.
wow.
Cute.
Like puppy
You're
dogs.
adorable. The
Thank you.
bantering back and forth. I love it.
So
Thank you.
before you answer about how it's funded, can you talk a little bit about what LEOs are, what Leos are?
Yes.
Yeah, you were gonna say
Good.
it.
She's off the good
I was.
question
I
thing
had
now.
to
She's
pause.
figured it out.
So LEO or LEO stands for Limited Equity Ownership. And we have a program within CHR, Community Housing Resources, that we built up about, I think we started that 12 years ago, give or take. And it is a program where we can offer ownership opportunities to people who, again, income qualify. So you have to be in that moderate or below income level. And we have 14 units that fall in that category.
Wow.
So the way that works is you have to follow our eligibility. So you have to work or have lived on the island for a long time. And then if you qualify income wise, we can offer you a unit to buy on your own. So you have to be able to purchase it. You have to have enough money to put down. You have to qualify at the bank or have had enough cash that you can purchase it outright. And we only have 14 of them. So they
Yeah.
don't come up very often.
Mm-mm.
Many of them were originally sold to persons in 2009. I had 2 come up in all of this time.
Yeah,
since
I'm
then,
sure
so.
once people get in there, they're staying.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
a little-
as long as they can.
Just a little side question. Every once in a while, something pops in my head.
Oh,
On
boy.
Sanibel, do they play pickleball on Sanibel?
They do.
They do.
And I do too.
You do.
I
Okay.
do.
So the question is pickleball like a ball or is it like the thing that you play with badminton? Is it like a hard ball?
The shuttle.
Like
It's
it-
a wiffle ball.
It's a wiffle
It's a
ball.
wiffle ball with holes in it.
So if it hits you, it could hurt.
A little bit, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
because you have
could, we could test it out if you want.
no, because you usually you have some kind of.
That's a good one. You could stand there.
I could take wiffle
with your
balls.
shirt
I think
off,
you know
and
I
we
could take
could
more than
whip.
wiffle balls. But usually you have a layer of clothing anyway. That's not going to leave a welt on
About
you.
like what you have
boy.
on.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it,
where
it
do
can it can leave a bruise for a little while though.
all right? Where do they play what's it called?
Wiffle ball.
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
You know, back in the day we used to play wiffle ball.
Yeah, it was
That
fun
was a
with
fun
the bat and the
sport.
ball, right? Like
Yeah.
the
Well, yeah, with the bat and the
Plastic,
ball.
all
Yeah,
plastic.
yeah.
But
But it was
this
a
is a
smaller
paddle.
white. It was a smaller white ball.
okay.
Now you guys use a bigger yellow ball, right?
It's a big.
why are
and
they
actually
yellow?
various colors. They're
I
yellow,
see.
neon green,
Okay.
pink now, orange, blue.
So that you can see them.
Why is it a big thing? Why is pickleball a big thing?
Oh, you haven't tried it.
No. I mean,
Oh.
I wouldn't even know where to go to play.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so many places to play now, and
Really?
over 4 million people are playing pickleball today.
Get out.
Wow.
Yes, in the United States alone. It's incredible how
Does
much
Holly
it's
Smith
growing.
play pickleball?
Holly Smith has not, to my knowledge, played pickleball yet.
Why did
I've
you?
asked her a couple times.
confirm nor deny.
What about Kevin Wayne? Is he a pickleballer?
No, but
Can you
Kevin's-
imagine getting hit by a pickleball that comes from Kevin Wayne's
that would be
racket?
difficult.
Oh yeah,
that,
get out
that
of the
would
way of
hurt.
that thing.
That would
Yeah.
probably hurt a lot.
That's
sure.
going to leave a
Kevin's
mark.
wife has a pretty good pickleball
yeah.
Oh,
game.
she's
though.
a pickleballer.
Yes, Doreen is awesome.
Yeah. So, by the way, I think they just had an anniversary the other day. Did you see
They
that
did.
on the
I did
Facebook?
see
What year
that.
was that? 27 or
I
something like that? Yeah.
Didn't pay attention to
Yeah,
that.
they're-
Where do you play?
On Sanibel, there's a place called the Sundial Resort.
Oh,
and
sure.
Beach.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
been there, haven't
That-
we?
Long,
Yeah.
long time.
I don't
They
think
have
they had
12
pickleball
courts
back
there.
then. Wow,
Yeah.
12 courts. I'm sure they're always crowded.
They are always crowded.
So now
It's a
is
lot of
anyone
fun.
playing tennis anymore, or has everybody moved to pickleball?
Well, if I had my way, everybody would move to pickleball. But there
Ah.
are still some people playing tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have this park up here. What's this park called with the volleyball thing? Crescent Park. They have two volleyball courts. Can you imagine if they made like all that
And
area
pickleball.
pickleball? It'd be packed all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you'd bring a lot more people down here. I think City of Fort Myers Beach should think about that.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
they
it's a
have it
county-owned
at
piece
Bay
of
Oaks.
property.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have it at Bay
Yeah,
Oaks.
oh yeah,
I
they
think
do.
They
They have it at Bay Oaks. Yeah. So back to the main.
So we were talking
topic.
about, and I segued from your question. So yeah, go ahead and tell us how you're funded, how you keep all of this going.
Well,
Yeah.
We know what you're thinking. We know what you're thinking.
funny you should ask that. So some of the way we get funded is by doing events. And one of our events we held, bringing it back to pickleball for a minute, is we had Swing for Hope and had a pickleball tournament on the island at the Sundial. And we raised a lot of money
Wow.
for our affordable housing. there.
You charge a team of 4 a certain amount of money, and then double
We-
elimination, something like that.
Something like that. We
Okay.
charge each person on their own, and then
Oh.
we kind of paired people and did a round robin kind of situation. We had tennis then too, but the pickleball outnumbered the tennis about 10-1.
Yeah.
The amount of people
Wow.
that signed up. It was incredible.
How-
And Lily's Jewelry Store was one of our big sponsors for that. So
Now,
that was
when
a
you-
lot of fun.
Pickleball, is it 2 people on each side? Is it doubles all the time, or is it singles and doubles?
It's singles and doubles, just
Okay.
like tennis, but it's a much smaller court.
yeah. You don't have to run as far, right?
No, you
Yeah.
don't have to
It's
run
not
as
really
far.
exercise, is it?
Oh, it's a lot of exercise.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's sprinting.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
exercise.
Are you allowed to spike it, or is it you really just got to have good? You have to be a good sportsman and hit it to the other person.
No,
so that,
you're allowed to spike it.
does it ever
but-
get serious, like
Oh,
people
yeah.
fighting and stuff like that,
Oh,
like
yeah.
There's
climbing
been
over the
videos
net?
Oh,
of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Depends on who's on the other side of the
I
net.
see.
That
Who is-
doesn't happen in Sanibel.
Never.
No.
Who's the best pickleball player on Sanibel?
Oh,
Come on,
that's
I'm
a
sure you
loaded
know.
question.
Come
I
on.
don't think I could answer that.
Best female, best male.
Can't answer that. There's a lot of really good players on Sanibel.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't
And
they?
Naples and Fort Myers.
Didn't they have
and
the pickleball championships in Naples or something?
They
think they
did. They
did.
just
Yeah.
recently had the U.S. Open down there.
Did you go and watch? Like,
I went and played. It
Get
was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
so can I?
How'd you do?
I did well. I played well, but I didn't medal.
What place did you come in?
One of those.
What place did you come in?
Well, in our division, they were 50 something teams,
Yeah.
and I can't remember what place we came
Like-
in.
I'm sure it was like 4th.
Thank you. I love you.
Well, I love those shorts,
Oh,
by the
good
Yeah,
way.
they're
grief.
so
Come on
comfy,
already
too.
with
They
the-
are so cute.
So if you play, like I've never played before, if we played each other, would you beat me
Yes.
in the first match?
Yes.
Like how many points do you go up to?
You go up to 11 points.
11. You have to win by 2.
Yep, you win by 2, 11, win by 2.
Yeah. So would you win or would I win?
I would win.
You would win.
I would win.
I see. We might have
Hands
to have
down,
a,
no
uh,
hesitation
a
on
friendly
that one.
bet there.
No hesitation there.
I don't even. Where do you buy a racket? Can you get one at?
Dick Sporting Goods
I
has
see.
them.
What do they
but you
run?
can get them online too.
Yeah.
Anywhere from, I guess I've seen them as cheap as $60 and as much as like $300 or $400.
Good Lord.
You don't need the
Wow.
really expensive one though, but more than $60 is a good idea.
Yeah. How big is the court?
That's, you're testing my memory. I think it's 44 feet by 60 feet.
Yeah. I
something
mean,
like
how
that.
am I going to know whether that's
Can you
right or
get out
wrong?
there
So it
with a
sounds good to
ping
me.
pong?
It's good.
Is it bigger
maybe-
than a racquetball court?
It's less than a tennis court and bigger than a
I
racquetball
see.
court.
Maybe you could use a ping pong paddle.
Some people
Wait.
do actually. People who play ping pong are very good at
Of
pickleball.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to play
Just
ping
bring
pong
your
back in the day.
paddle.
So somebody said we're mixing workforce housing and affordable housing. We probably are.
We are. They're
Yeah.
both one and the same, honestly,
Yeah.
in today's market.
Like, what advice do you have for Fort Myers Beach? Like, they're really struggling down here because it's the same kind of situation. The property's so expensive. The town, Sanibel didn't buy those properties. It's a completely separate organization from the government.
Yes,
Mhm.
correct.
So how do you make it work on
and
Fort
they
Myers Beach?
started 40 years
Yeah.
ago.
We did. They
Yeah.
had a lot of foresight. It was our four founders were amazing to do that. But today on Fort Myers Beach, one of the things they can do, and you have the same issue Sanibel has. You
Right.
have traffic getting on and off the island, which precludes people from wanting to work out here. So you need more people to live out here so that you eliminate some of that traffic. So I know you have a big construction project going on, and that's
Well,
going to
it's a
bring
little-
more
yeah, it's a little
people and
bit, yeah.
more employees that are
Right.
going to be
Right.
needed.
Right.
So one of the things that CHR did is we started to locate land, which we're still doing today, which is hard to come by. And
Sure.
imagine on the beach, it's hard to come by
Right.
too. So you identify property that perhaps somebody would donate to you or that you have to purchase, and then you build.
Well, see, here's the
Unfortunately.
thing. The town, one of the things, the town spent $2 million on a piece of property that they now own behind Town Hall,
Oh.
which is really, it's not even a mile. It's basically a mile, a little bit less than a mile away from here, where a lot of the employees are.
That's
and they
close.
were gonna put a mooring field building there so that people can do their laundry and stuff. But the residents in that area decided they didn't want that, and they talked the town out of it. But I mean, why not build like an apartment building there? Change the zoning because you own the land. You can change the zoning and
Yeah.
build like 74 units.
Yeah,
Why not do that?
exactly.
mean-
or
Well,
maybe
at the
start
cost
smaller.
of
You can
that-
build 20 units and ease people into it a little
Mhm.
bit.
But should the government be in the business of doing that, or should they say, okay, we're going to contract it out with CHR maybe?
You know, that's a good question. Many places
3-1.
Many places in the nation do it themselves. The government does it themselves.
No
and
kidding.
Has it. Lee County actually has some
Mm-hmm.
themselves. But a lot of other places have nonprofits like my organization, and they do it for the whole community as opposed to throughout the government.
Mhm.
So there's lots of different ways to do it. One of the ways that I think CHR does it and we do it well is that because we're not a government entity, we raise funds. So we go out and we get donations and sponsor support. We can do events, and there's not all the red tape that if we were a government entity we would have.
Right. Yeah, I was looking on your website. The list of sponsors and
Yeah.
it's long.
How big is your
It
budget?
It's a lot.
We're $1.3 million budget this year.
Well, that's not huge.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not huge.
Yeah.
It's not huge, but we, with that's how we maintain the properties
Mhm.
and getting ready
Okay.
to build. So that's what that's for.
Well, and the build, I mean, that's the thing.
The
I
build
mean,
is going to cost a lot. And if I can move to that for a second,
Sure.
we have identified a
We'll go
piece of
right away.
property. And we have a very generous donor on the island that is the Johnson family that owns the grocery store. And they're donating 2.5 acres to us behind the store.
Wow.
And that's just going to be awesome for us because we've been looking for land for about 10 years. So I was on the board of CHR back starting in 2012. And then about 5 years ago, the executive director was retiring
Mhm.
and they offered me the position,
Right.
twisted my arm rather. I wasn't sure I wanted to do it, but we took it on and here we are today
What-
looking for more stuff.
What is your background? Like, how
I am a commercial real estate broker
okay.
and I
Oh, well then, yeah.
You know your
managed
stuff.
apartment communities for a long time.
So how many times and how?
Well, wait, I just
Ugh.
want to ask. So that generous donation,
Yeah.
and so then you're going to build on that?
We are going to build on that, and we hope to build. I would love to build 30 units,
Wow.
but we're getting through that process with the government now to figure out what we can do.
And then you contract out with builders, or are there builders that donate?
Good question. We have been talking to several builders who possibly would help us with a lowered cost. And also, we've been talking to Habitat for Humanity
Mhm.
because they did that build out themselves. These are not going to be owner occupied, so they're not going to be part of our limited equity
Okay.
ownership program. They're going to be in the rental program. So we would ask for a lot of volunteers to help us build these when we get to that point where we have opportunities for them.
And obviously the property's on Sanibel, right?
It is on Sanibel, and it's mid-island. Like you were mentioning, the one here is about
Right.
a mile away.
It's
This one
perfect.
is right in the center of the island, so you wouldn't even have to have a car if you lived there. You could bike ride to almost any location
Yeah.
you would work at.
That's what if I lived on Sanibel, if I win the lottery and I could go move to Sanibel, that's what I would do.
Right?
Because you
would
have great
bike
bike
around.
paths
Well,
because
oh,
they're
yes.
off the road.
Yes.
We have it's over 25 miles of bike paths throughout
Yeah.
the island, and they're increasing it every day.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
So how often and how many times has Fort Myers Beach, the folks that are working on it here, reached out to you and talked to you about what you've accomplished over there?
A couple of times.
Who do you talk to?
John Talmadge, who is with the city of Fort Myers. Actually, he and I have talked quite a bit.
He's
Not
not
familiar
from-
with John?
No, I mean on Fort Myers Beach.
On Fort Myers Beach. It's been a while, and
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was a lady, and I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
Town council member?
No,
Okay.
not town council member.
Yeah.
But I would welcome talking to any of them that would want to.
Don't you
That
think
would
they
be
should
amazing.
contact you? I mean, that's
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know what
if
you're
you'd like
doing.
to contact us, you can get me at our
why are you
website.
looking at me like that? They should be talking to her. She knows
That's-
all she knows her
Dear,
stuff.
just put the information out there. Don't express an opinion. No one cares about your opinion. As
She's
people
right.
have said
Nobody
a million times, you don't live here. So, anyways,
So
go ahead.
shut up.
Well, I will say affordable housing is needed everywhere,
Yes.
nationwide, right today. So, and I would be happy to share our formula and how we've done it on Sanibel with CHR.
Ashley says if you wait long enough, Joe Biden will pay for all the housing. Now that's going a little too far, Ashley. Stop picking on our president. Where is affordable housing in the city of Fort Myers? Do they have buildings?
They
Yeah.
have in the city of Fort Myers, they are looking at building along 41. There was
Okay.
an old mobile home park that I think they bought across from the
I think
Edison
I
Mall
saw
or
it-
in that
I
area.
think I saw an article
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That'd be a
Hmm.
perfect spot right
Yeah.
over the bridge there. Here, I mean, over the bridge here is also another perfect spot for that.
There's
I mean,
a lot of locations.
Yeah.
You just have to find it, and you got to have a little bit of capital to be able to buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
How many
That's
employees
just
do
not
you?
technically on the beach, though, right? So,
It's part of the fire district, but they're not allowed to vote. It's considered
But
Fort
I
Myers
mean-
Beach.
Oh.
It's a little goofy.
yeah. For-
How many employees do you have?
There's only 2 of us today.
No
yeah.
kidding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We run a very
Wow.
lean.
So you're out there
staff.
cutting the yard and painting the walls and all that yourself
I wish I could do that. I am not good at any of that.
because you're too busy playing
Those are
pickleball.
Too busy
Yes,
playing
she said.
pickleball.
How many times a
I
week?
wish that too.
How many times a week do you play? Like,
As often as I can.
yeah. So what's the bet going to be like
For the
when
what?
we
the
play?
pickleball game.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it's got to
I-
be
We're
like,
gonna bet.
oh yeah, I mean,
Oh.
it's got to be some kind of donation to your organization or
I
something.
love that.
Yeah, I'll get some sponsors
Yeah,
and
let's do
we'll
that.
play best 2 out of 3.
There's a great idea for a fundraiser.
That's right.
Kind
Yeah.
of like one of those marathons where people walk
Yeah.
and they got to get money to play.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
walk
We should
during
do something.
marathons?
Or
You
You're
know,
right.
no. But where
you know
they
what I'm
get-
talking about? Like
yes.
Jerry Lewis used to do.
Yes.
You would
Jerry
do like
Lewis.
the 20 miles. I know I'm
That's
dating
when we
myself.
used to watch the,
Oh,
the
my
telethon.
goodness.
Remember
You
Jerry
remember
Lewis when he would cry
Ah.
at the end? When he would sing that song, he'd cry at the end. We'll never walk alone.
I
Oh.
remember.
Remember that song?
I
Can
you
remember
sing
doing
that?
that.
No,
though.
that's the only line I remember from it.
I remember getting the donations and walking in one.
Yeah.
One time I was a kid too, and I don't think anyone realized how long it was. Me and my friends were out there. It was like 10, 12 miles.
Do you remember who Jerry
It's a
Lewis
long-
used
it
to?
was too long.
Who
for
was his
kids.
comedic partner?
I do not remember.
Come on, you guys. Jerry Lewis and
Dick Van Dyke?
no,
I
come
like him too.
on. Somebody's gonna know from the troll
All right,
audience.
somebody
there.
will
They're
pick
gonna
it
know
up.
for
There,
sure.
maybe you got
Sinatra?
an answer.
No,
Oh.
not Frank Sinatra. Come on.
I don't know.
So, the manatees. Let's talk about the manatees.
The Manatees was
Um,
another fundraiser we did, and we did it the last 2 years. And we started it during COVID. We needed to still continue to raise some funds for that $1.3 million
well,
budget.
what
we
was the
have.
fundraiser?
It was an artist decorated manatees, and we put them all around the island. So we got sponsors to sponsor them, and then we auctioned them off at the end of the fundraiser.
What'd they make them out of?
They made them out of fiberglass.
So you had a specific kind of. This is how you're going to do it. This is
We
people are
had-
going to go around
we
judging
bought
them.
the preforms for
And then let
everybody
the
and gave them
artist-
to the artist and let them design how they wanted to.
Colleen is first. No, Karen Woodson was first. Karen Woodson is running for town council, by the way. She got Dean Martin, of course.
yeah,
How can you guys
that's
forget
right.
that?
I get them all confused.
Now I remember.
Yes.
You know,
If you want to do, I think you should dress up in a manatee costume and play pickleball.
Oh, come on. That's crazy. How am I going to win that
Anybody pay
way?
to see him do that?
How am I going to win? I need to win. Listen, I'm going to win.
I want to
And,
see you try to run in a manatee costume.
I
That would
think
be
I
interesting.
think I could get $2,000 worth of sponsors to play.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're on. Let's
Now, what's
do
in it for me, though? I mean,
think,
what if I
think we
win?
should play doubles though.
No.
Singles,
Yeah.
doubles
There's
would
this-
be better.
Doubles is fun.
Is it gonna
Doubles is
be-
fun. The two
Yeah.
of you.
No,
Oh,
we
boy.
cannot.
Can't
Actually,
play
that's got to
together?
be
Play
videotaped.
against
That's
him.
got to be videotaped.
Oh,
I'll
fun.
play with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you have to get a partner. I've got one.
Who do you have?
I have her.
I'll ask Ray Murphy if he'll play on my team.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
I'm sure I could find 49 people that might want to be on my team,
I
but
don't think so.
probably not. So, who won the manatee contest?
So the manatee contest, it wasn't a win or lose.
No,
it
people
was
bid
we
on it.
auctioned them
Oh,
off.
who-
So we won. CHR won.
Right.
How much
because
did
they
you
all
raise?
were auctioned off over $215,000 the previous year and
Holy
almost
moly.
$260,000 this year.
How many manatees did they build?
We've had 15 the previous year and we had 24 this year.
How do you raise that much money from that?
Isn't that
So
amazing?
few. Like, because people on Sanibel got money. That's why. Yeah.
They have money, but actually some of the people were not
And
on
they're very-
Sanibel that ended up buying them.
And they're very generous.
They're
Oh,
very
yeah.
generous
That's-
and
it's
they
for a
see
good
the
cause.
need for
Yeah,
affordable
good
housing.
cause.
Yep.
Sweet.
And they love the
Yeah.
artists. Some of them, we had one artist, Jenny Dickinson, who actually has done a lot of things around town.
Ed McMahon. I'm still reading the names. Ed McMahon. All these people are dead, by the way. Dean Martin, Ed
Is he
McMahon
dead?
is dead. We should play
Aw.
that game one time, dear.
Oh,
We should
yeah.
play Who's Dead or
That's
Alive.
sad.
It's so hard to remember some of those. Like Jerry Lewis he's dead too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Frank Sinatra dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all dead. Elvis, he's dead. Everybody's dead. We're all dying, by the way. I don't mean to bring us down, but what were you saying
Wow.
about
Very down. So
Speaking of
this year,
dying-
instead of manatees, we're going to do, I believe, shells
Oh,
and have
nice.
artists decorate shells.
why are the manatees dying? Are we saving any of these manatees? Is this lettuce thing working that everybody's putting on the bottom of the ocean floor there? You
Well,
don't know?
No idea.
I think
Yeah.
the
I think we need to.
supplemental
Yeah.
lettuce. I think that they're no longer doing that.
Oh,
but
they
it was
stopped doing it?
successful.
Yeah. So
I
are
mean, it
you a
did help.
DeSantis fan or not? Or
Why do you always have to?
I
go
just
there?
say I interested.
Politics
to,
are a difficult thing to discuss on
I
the
see.
air. So
we
yeah,
could
I'd rather
discuss it
not.
off the air.
Sure.
All right. Did we miss anything about your?
Oh,
You have
about-
any other fundraiser? Like the next fundraiser is going to be when? I really think the
We
pickleball
do.
fundraiser is a great idea.
I think we're going to
If
have
you
to
don't
do that
say
again.
so yourself.
Yes.
Well, we'll have to plan that.
Who
That'll
was
be a
that?
lot of fun.
Was the fundraiser that they did for a different organization, or was it for yours at the
For
Sundial?
ours.
Oh, when is
well,
the next one?
the Sundial does lots of different things.
Yeah.
So the one they did for us a couple years ago was for CHR. So,
Got it.
but they do other round robins and tournaments and stuff like that now too. Especially pickleball's picked up so much.
Yeah.
They have a lot of things. I would
Who-
encourage people to look at it.
Who invented pickleball?
Actually, some people out in Seattle area, so
Really?
in Washington,
Huh.
and they had a dog named Pickles. Is the story that I've heard, and that's why it became pickleball.
You really know a lot about this game.
It was
That's
in
great.
1965. It's been around a
No
long
way.
time.
Is it
I know.
good? I'm surprised it's not an Olympic sport.
They're trying to make it one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think professional wrestling should be an Olympic sport too. I
I
mean,
think
if
everything
you want
should be.
if you want people to watch the Olympics, then
It should be
professional
wrestling.
So
what do you
um,
think about that?
I don't
She
know
doesn't.
about professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Pickleball, I could get behind a
Did you
movement
s-
to add that.
Did
Yeah.
you see? I'm. This is going to be a little sidebar here, but did you see this whole new thing with the naked pickleball?
I saw a blurb about it, and
Isn't that
I
isn't
would
that
not
crazy?
be interested in playing.
I'm sure
that.
they're not doing that on Sanibel, right? They're not.
Please don't
You never know.
suggest that
no.
for your fundraiser.
I'm just thinking. No, I would never put. No. So if you're playing naked pickleball, I'm
Maybe a
thinking like
fig
the
leaf
first thing you
pickleball.
want to do like is welt somebody. Like you're trying to, either the ladies are trying to hit them down, right? And the men are trying to hit them higher, right? I mean, how can you concentrate on the game? Like there's these plus these people that were playing. Did you see the pictures? They're like 90.
Yeah,
It's hard to keep things firm when you're 90. That's why you wear clothes.
And can you imagine
just-
running? And it's all
No, it's
yeah,
all
the-
running
I just
around
think
and
you get to that age and you so don't care. So you just
really.
do whatever you want
I would
to
think it
do.
would be hard to concentrate on the game when when all
So
that
the
stuff.
women would have an advantage.
They would? In what way?
Well, if it's
They're a
hard
bit
for you to
distracted.
concentrate on the game
Yeah, then
I'm just thinking,
in general,
can you, is that a pay-per-view thing? I mean, you think people would pay to,
No.
it's
No.
naked pickleball. And then
they
Michael,
might pay not to watch it.
Michael Buffer comes out and of course he's naked because his name's Buffer.
I don't think that like naked beaches and that stuff that hasn't been popular for
No.
a while.
No?
Not that I know
Not
of.
that yeah,
Oh,
I
boy.
might be missing something though.
I know.
Well, Melissa, you've been a great sport. I apologize for Kim's behavior
Oh,
today. So thank you
yes.
so much for coming on and coming
You
all the
guys
way
are
over.
amazing.
Do we have to reimburse you for the $6 that you had to pay to come over the
Do you have
bridge?
a
Or
pass?
I have a pass. I'm
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
But thank you for that.
Oh,
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
and let's work on the pickleball thing.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's make that
that'll be
happen.
fun.
All right,
Maybe
everybody.
you could do your show from the pickleball court.
That would be fun. All clothes. There'll be
Yes.
no naked pickleball,
In a
everybody.
manatee costume, you know.
Melissa Rice, everybody. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Melissa.
everybody.
Take
Bye.
care. Melissa Rice from the community housing over on Sanibel. Folks, we're going to play a little game before our next guest, who doesn't even look like he's here yet because he had to come all the way from Naples. You know, last week or 2 weeks ago, we had on our friend Jeff from Royal Scoop. And we're going to do something right now that he doesn't even know about. But I'm going to give you $50 worth of ice cream, a $50 gift certificate to Royal Scoop. What you need to do is you need to, oops, that's the wrong one. Let me see where it is. There we go. You're going to text to 248-225-5523. I'm going to leave that up there on the screen so you can see. All you need to do is text, I want my Beach Talk Radio ice cream to that number and put your first name at the end. And we're going to randomly pick a winner for $50 worth of ice cream at Royal Scoop. You're going to get a gift certificate. You can go whenever you want. If you live out of town, I'll mail it to you so that when you come back to town, you're going to have it. So that's all you need to do is I want my Beach Talk Radio ice cream. Put your name at the end. To 248-225-5523. I'm going to leave that up there while I tell you about Island Carts FMB. If you need a golf cart, you're going to call Island Carts FMB, or you're going to go on their website because they have the coolest carts on all of Fort Myers Beach. They have the cleanest carts. They have the newest carts. They have the carts that last the longest because their batteries are brand new. And what you're going to do is you're going to call 844-FMB-CART. That's 844-FMB-CART. And for those of you that still have a rotary phone that don't have letters and numbers on it, that's 844-362-2278. 844-362-2278. Island Carts FMB. You see them tooling around Fort Myers Beach in the nice blue-looking carts. You saw the commercial that we ran earlier in the show. It's Father's Day. Rent a cart. Take your dad to Nervous Nellies or Shuckers or Times Square for lunch. And do it on a cart so your dad can have a few drinks and not have to worry about it. And then you drive his butt home. So our next guest was sitting outside waiting because we were outside last year. Come on down, Judge. He's all confused. We confused him.
Yeah, you did.
He knocked over the camera. Everything's
did?
getting all discombobulated here. Judge, how are you? Have a seat.
Great, Ed. How
Good
you
to see
doing?
you. Good to see you. I want to make sure
Oh,
you're
back up
going
a
to have
little
to
bit
back
just
up.
because
This
that's
is
the
our camera
camera.
here. I know we
Yeah,
have
last
totally
time it was all different.
yeah, here we go. Is everybody in? There we go. So there's our camera, Judge, right here. You're going to look in there.
Yes,
You're going to get
and-
the microphone nice and close. And we apologize for turning things around on you now.
That's all right. We were just sitting out there, and
I felt so
I told
bad.
Doris, I said, "There's something not quite right." Anyway, we got here, and happy to be here.
Now,
No,
before
well, let me just
Okay,
say,
go ahead.
I want to apologize to your wife because I had my glasses off, and so I was looking around and I saw her standing over here,
Yeah, yeah.
but I can't see anything. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, wait a minute. She looks somewhat familiar, but it's so, fuzzy. So sorry about that. We
No problem.
apologize.
All right, so let's refresh our audience about your history. You're a former federal judge in Washington D.C.
That's
You now live
correct.
in Naples. So give us your
We-
background.
Okay, I had a 32-year then legal career in Washington. I was a government attorney for 15 years, and I retired as the chief judge at the Federal then Trade Commission, which, as you may know, has responsibilities for antitrust oversight and then consumer then protection and privacy matters. So after we then retired in 2008, started a second career in my hometown of I think Louisville, Kentucky, as a vice president of a hospital. My the wife's a former special agent in Washington, and I always like to joke, she carried a I think Glock for several years, so I'd learned when she's around to keep in line,
So
not
listen,
get too
so
far
she
out of
doesn't
line.
clock you
Well,
with
that's
the
right.
Glock.
Clock me with the Glock. That's right. So then we moved down full time to the Naples in September of 2020. I've been coming down here since about 85. My parents had a place down here, so we're down here now, and I'm glad of it.
So, Judge,
Can I just ask a
Oh.
real quick question about his?
go right
Previous
ahead. It's
one.
your show,
So-
dear.
So, well, I have to jump in, or you'll just run ramshot right over me. So, when the Federal Trade Commission, you mentioned that
Yes.
they're into consumer protection. So, I was at a thing given by the sheriff's department about protecting your personal information and getting
Yes.
your identity stolen. So, if that happens, if you become, someone steals your identity, you should call the Federal Trade Commission, right?
Well, I'm assuming that's the case. It's been several years.
Yeah. No, I
And-
think so.
And I tell you, I was just interviewed on TV yesterday, just by I think coincidence, and the subject was these pop-up ads you get when you're on Google
Yes.
and you're on a site, and all the pop-up ads
Yep.
come up. And sure enough, if you've been doing any surfing on Google, and then all these ads pop up from places you've been
Ben. Mm-hmm.
exploring, and it's a real privacy issue. So the interviewer asked me then what did I think could be done, and I said that's one area that the FTC does have jurisdiction over, and that's consumer and privacy. And I would urge people who feel their privacy online is being invaded to contact their congressman or the FTC to get them to promulgate the new rules on how companies can use the
It's
internet.
so
to
invasive.
advertise. Well, it's kind of scary when you've been, and then I was asked, do you ever have a conversation at home with your spouse, and then the very thing you've been talking about pops up
Yeah.
on your computer? Now that's getting a little scary.
Yeah.
So
So
Sorry, I
before
got
we
you on.
before we get to the book, I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on this Supreme Court leak. The so much secrecy for so many years in the Supreme Court, and then obviously it's a big issue with Roe versus Wade,
right.
and somebody leaks the opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a complete breakdown of the court's processes, their internal procedures, and I think it's a sad commentary that this decision, and we know it's going to be a controversial one, however it turns, but the fact that a staffer, probably one of the attorneys for one of the justices, leaked the outcome, and I think that's a sad day in our country's the judicial history. It's the first time that I'm aware that's ever occurred, and I guess now anything is possible in Washington.
Right, right.
What's the penalty for that? Like when they catch the person?
Well,
if they catch
obviously
them-
that person should be fired. There's no doubt about that.
It's not against the law, though.
it's
not
not.
against the law, no.
Nope, it's just a rule that they have.
Right.
If it's an
Well,
attorney,
it's
though,
just
shouldn't
a
they?
professional responsibility.
Right.
And it's been obviously denied.
You think it was one of the
Wouldn't-
clerks?
But if
Well, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
I don't have any insight
Right,
on
right,
who
right,
it
right.
is, but it could be. I mean, and I'm wondering if possibly whoever it was had, implicit
Mhm.
consent by somebody to do it.
You mean a justice?
Well, I'm not saying that. But
So speaking of Washington, this January 6th thing has been going on, and it's really not. It's not really. It's a one-sided thing because there are no Republicans that are able to
Right.
ask. I mean, Liz Cheney's a Republican, yeah, but she's a Trump hater, and
yeah.
now when you watch that, I'm not trying to get into the politics. Maybe I am, but when you watch that go
no
on,
one believes that.
what are your thoughts about Washington and Congress and
Well, like I said, I've been gone since 2008 and glad of it. And to answer your question, in this current climate, I don't really watch the news that much because I think a large percentage of it is propaganda. To be
Mhm.
honest with you, and I don't think you're getting a fair and impartial treatment of the issues. And I think in the case of the January 6 hearings, it's funny how now the entire media doesn't refer to it as protests or riots, but insurrections,
Mhm.
as if to lay a foundation for treason. And so that's why I don't keep up with things like this. I mean, I have a pretty good idea as to where things are going,
Sure,
but I find some of this to be rather toxic.
right.
When you were serving as a federal judge, did you feel safe? Because there was that
Kavanaugh,
with the person finding out, your address, and then hello,
Well, again, I think this
Thank
is
you.
unprecedented in our nation's history, and it's a real shame. I mean, if we can't ensure the security of our then Supreme Court justices, I mean, then our whole system is just it doesn't work anymore, and I'm quite concerned over all this.
So let's talk about your books. Your second book now is out, and I appreciate your wife sent it to me, and I read it before the appearance here. The first book, what was the name of the first book
The
again?
first book was called Prior Then Restraint, and it was a political thriller that took place essentially in Washington, and it was about terrorism and the media, and began when the country's leading TV news anchorman was brutally
That's right.
murdered on the streets of Washington, and then behind the scenes was a corrupt U.S. Then senator, and so the sub story was how power is exercised in Washington, and Fractured Power, which is my second book that has just come out, is more of I call it a dark and haunting than psychological thriller, and it's about a
Wait. I don't want you to get ahead of my
Why not?
questions
No,
here.
go ahead.
Now, the first thing that I was telling Kim about last night was that there's some pretty brutal murderers in this
Yes,
book that you've
there
written.
are.
Where does that come from in your mind?
It's a good question.
oh no.
I can tell you the one little story. If you recall, the opening of the book begins in a little town in Arizona called Bisbee, Arizona. And I was out playing golf in Scottsdale about 2 years ago with some friends, and they hooked us up with this the gentleman from out of state. And I asked him if he was staying in Scottsdale, and he said, "No, I'm staying with my brother-in-law in this little town." I said, "So what's the name of the town?" He said, "In Bisbee, Arizona," and I became infatuated with that. So when I got a chance, I did some homework on it, and I got in my mind that would be a good place to start my story, and so we do. And
So the question,
Well, yeah,
about the murder, like
well,
it's not pleasant.
No,
Some of
And
it.
it's
that was
not.
my question. That was my question.
it's
but go ahead.
a dark, as you know now, it's a dark and haunting book. And when people ask me, what is it about, I've got to be very careful in describing it.
That fly.
What's the deal with the
because
fly?
I
don't know.
think it has a storyline that, as far as I'm aware, hasn't ever been done before.
So you didn't pull this from some
No, no.
case that you okay.
Oh, no.
This
Okay.
is all in your mind.
Yeah, all
Ah,
my
you-
arranged
Yeah,
mind.
you that's what I
So-
said to him. I said he just doesn't, because he was
Yeah.
I did not
And
read the book, but I was like, I just
You always
can't
have to
see
be
him.
careful of asking the right questions, but not giving the book away,
Right.
Yeah.
which I don't want to do. But the second question is, it moves from Bisbee to Knoxville, Tennessee. Like, why Knoxville?
Okay, that's a great question.
Oh, you have to stop giving him credit for these great
Because
credits.
he keeps ringing the
Yes.
bell.
I am
Oh,
kicking her
Yes.
ass today
Ah,
on the
boy,
bell.
you are.
Ah.
It's funny. Again, everything's when you have a story. When we first moved to the Naples, I then reconnected with an old then fraternity brother, and he said, "On your way down to Florida from and then Louisville, why don't you stop on the way and just spend the night with us?" I hadn't seen him in 40 years, and we did. And he lives in Knoxville. And then they came down here to see us about I don't know, 6 months ago. And the storyline in the book about Arizona getting to Knoxville, I wanted to get my character as far away from the California, Arizona area as I possibly could. And I thought, well, Tennessee would be a great place
Mhm.
to sort of disappear. And so that's how, and then I had my friends and I was thinking about the Knoxville, and that's how it
But
came to be.
you've done, obviously you somehow research Knoxville, where you know the roads and you know there's landmarks,
yeah.
and that's how you fit it into that part of the
Well,
book.
I've been there quite a few
I see.
times over the years, and you're right, but I still had to do homework as you do on any book, because
Yeah.
I try to make my stories as accurate as they possibly can be.
Now you self-published, which has probably got to be hard.
Actually, I think it's a little easier than to get published by the traditional
Right.
publishers. You probably don't know this, but there are.
He doesn't know much, so
Okay.
that's a lock.
Well, then.
I don't think anybody's ever done that before. Yeah.
So self-publishing on Amazon is really not that difficult. And I did some homework recently. Amazon now carries 33 million titles.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's become the platform of choice.
Oh, yeah.
And I've learned since I've been in business for the last couple of years that the traditional publishers are sort of a dying breed, and most people seem like they're going to these publishing platforms. So
No, I think that's true. I mean, it's much easier access to go that route and just get it out there. So then, but then once you self-publish, then you have to self-promote.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what? That's the big secret that the then traditional publishers don't want you to know about. Even if you get a contract to publish through them,
Doesn't
you
mean
still
anything.
have to
Do
self-market.
it yourself. Mm.
So, but with Amazon, and I'm not plugging Amazon, there are other self-publishing platforms, but they'll help you then design your cover,
Mhm.
give you an ISBN number. You can even advertise your book on Amazon.
Why not no Kindle? I mean, this is the first actual book I've read in probably 5 years
Yeah.
because I'm so used to downloading the book on the Kindle.
We had put the previous book on Kindle, and we had some problems with it. We had some problems through Amazon getting the spacing online, and we worked on it. And I just didn't want a product going out that I thought was
Substandard.
substandard.
Yeah.
So we pulled the Kindle version of my previous book, and we just got this one out about 3 weeks ago, and we decided at least for the time being, let's just keep it in paperback.
Yeah. One suggestion for old people is I noticed the words were a little smaller than my eyes were bugging out because I read before I go to bed.
Oh,
so
yeah. Well, actually, that's a 12 font, which is a pretty big font for most.
So just tell me,
Paperbacks,
get a
but
magnifying
I
glass.
No,
think
get
you
some
probably need an
glasses.
appointment.
So you know what? So this ding dong, this was a while ago, a little bit of a segue here. This ding dong goes to get his license renewed, right? And it was the time where you had to redo the eye test. And the lady's like, you didn't pass.
I've never
And
failed the
she's
eye
like-
test before, but
And he's like, all right,
how do I get
so
home
what
now?
do I
That's
need
right.
to do?
Get my
Yeah,
license.
Yeah, now you can't get a license. How
I
do
have
you
glasses to
so
drive.
long?
I have glasses to drive, but I don't need them to read because
but
I can just enlarge the font on the
But
Kindle.
apparently, on the Kindle, right?
Yeah, but
that's
when
right.
you were driving, did you not
Dear,
go,
the judge is
wow,
here.
I
Can you
can't
keep
see?
it on topic, please?
Oh,
We're here to
please.
talk about his book, for crying out loud. So
Well, you can't read it.
I read it. We
you know
go
what?
from
Send it to him in Braille.
Knoxville to Washington D.C. and the shit hits the fan.
Well, it hit the fan before then.
True.
If you remember this, the young man who's comes from Arizona is a brilliant young man, and he's got tremendous ambition, but he's also very devious. So he manages to take a scholarship at the University of Tennessee Law School. And from there, he becomes a prosecuting attorney. And at about that time, there's a series of murders of these young women in Knoxville. So as the DA, he has influence over the evidence. So he starts to control the evidence in the pursuit of this the serial killer. And so the race to find this killer, and then once he's taken into custody, he's tried. There's one chapter, I think it's chapter 13. It's all about the trial, and so he uses his popularity after he gains a then conviction of this individual, and he's encouraged to then run for Congress, and he does, and he wins. So he goes to Washington, and and issues continue, and you discover he has a very dark side to him that people don't know about.
You're giving away a little too much, right?
Oh, no, I
So
think that's
one
good.
of the things that I picked up on when I was reading it is that you referred to the serial killer as organized and disorganized. And I've read the
Yes.
FBI
Yes.
books about the serial.
Yes.
I read a lot about
Yes.
serial killers for some reason.
Yeah.
And the FBI started this. They started to try and analyze these serial
Right.
killers to determine why they did this. Maybe,
Profiling. Yeah.
and they call them organized and disorganized. And so, where did you do your research for that?
Well,
Because it's
that's-
clearly in there.
Well, that's actually a clinical and a psychological pursuit, and these psychiatrists have studied the mindset of killers over the years and what causes someone to even become a serial killer. When you talk about an organized killer, that's someone who plans his killings down to the last little detail, and an unorganized killer is someone who just kills then haphazardly, and he may leave his DNA, his fingerprints, shell case, you name it, depending on how he committed it. But that's all, and I did do homework on this. That's all then psychological case studies, and
Does it mostly
So
always
would
come
it-
down to the childhood issues?
I'm not a trained psychiatrist, but I think oftentimes it does, yes. And if you think about it, in our own lives, we're all products in some small
Sure.
way
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
our upbringing. So
Yeah. Nature and nurture, right?
that's right.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding
does
on
that
that.
mean,
Yeah.
nature and nurture?
Yeah. See,
So
you
did
pointed
you-
to the bell.
Did you read up on the?
I just wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
So, the difference, like a serial killer and a spree killer. So, a spree killer to me seems like someone
I
who'd
don't
be
think
disorganized.
I don't think a spree killer is actually any of the phraseology that I've ever heard in killings before.
It is.
Spree killer.
That's someone who
What is a
kills
spree
like
killer
on
That
a
may be
spree.
what the
But a
law
serial
enforcement refers it to. I'm
Oh.
not sure. I agree with Ed. I'm not sure
Thank
that's a term
All right, I'm
that
looking it up.
utilized in the
DSM.
psychiatric
Yeah, yeah.
literature.
Psychiatric nomenclature.
Did you do any research on the BTK killer? Because that was
Oh, I
Oof.
did research on a lot
Yeah.
of serial killers, and after a while, John Gacy,
mhm.
the Zodiac killer out in California in the 70s, then Ted Bundy,
Yeah.
more closely down here, and and then you start reading published articles from these psychiatrists who've examined these cases, and you read about the commonalities that they have found amongst these various killers. So it's like anything else, you got to do your homework to understand what it is
Right.
that you're going to write about.
But how do you maintain your sanity, kind of spending time in the minds and the
Right.
actions of that
well,
nastiness?
I mean, my exposure to it has not
You're
been
strong-minded.
intense.
Yeah, that's what it
Have
is.
you ever
for
had?
that-
Have you in your? Well, it's a different kind of judging and law.
Right.
But you've never had some crazy crackpot in front of you, have you? Like a
No,
killer?
no.
Yeah.
No, I have
Okay.
not.
Mostly
Well,
just
not that you knew of.
right. I mean,
Let's put it that way.
Right.
so this book here. Again, I don't want to give it away, but there's got to be another one.
Well, it's funny you say that. I'm in the process now of coming up with a storyline for my third book, and quite honestly, people always ask me, what's the hardest part of writing a book? And for me, it's coming up with the unique storyline. Some of these authors out there, they tend to follow the same script in all their books, and if that makes them
Happy
happy
and successful. Yeah.
and successful, great. But I like to be very creative and try to come up with these the unique storylines that haven't been done before.
Okay, so this basically you're not going to carry this one on.
No.
I see. So it's basically it ends. I'm not going to say how it ends, but
Is it like
I
a
was-
cliffhanger?
it's a cliffhanger.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm curious.
You're going to
without-
be hanging on the cliff for a while, he says.
I'm curious, Ed, without giving it away, and more than your thoughts on the book. Were you surprised by some of the plot twists that were thrown in there?
Oh yeah, I was surprised by the violence of the murders. I was surprised by the way you left it at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was going to be. When I started to see I was running out of pages,
Yeah.
I was starting to worry that
Yeah. How's it going to end?
it wasn't. There needed to be more time for it to end a different way.
Yeah.
Is my thought, and I did like the small town, knowing the different aspects of Knoxville made you think that, okay, there's some serious research in this.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to figure out what's going on in that town
That's right.
to know what's going on in that town.
But I have one question. Did you anticipate what I would call the major plot twist that comes through about halfway in the book, or did that catch you by complete surprise?
I wish I knew which one.
Well, the
what
one
you call the
where-
major one.
He goes back to Arizona.
Oh, no, I wasn't surprised by that.
Okay.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't. No, it
Okay.
made sense. It made sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it totally made sense.
But did you anticipate?
No, I didn't know
that-
it was coming. No.
But did you anticipate he had that in him?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I did.
Okay, that's what I'm curious to know about.
Yeah.
You guys are speaking in riddles
Well, we don't
now.
wanna give the
People
book away.
gotta,
We
I
can't-
know.
we can't.
I want people to
talk-
buy the book
Yeah.
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 and
Yeah.
get a magnifying
So,
glass. if
so
you're
they
old.
can buy it obviously
Well,
on
they can buy it on
Amazon.
Amazon Books.
Yeah.
Again, it's Stephen then McGuire, and the book's called Fractured Power. And you can go on my the website, Stephen PHEN then McGuire author.com, and on my website, you can get a good overview of the two books. You can order it off of Barnes and Noble as well. I think it's easiest probably just to get it off Amazon
Sure.
Books. But so you can learn all about me if you're interested. And
Who's not interested in a judge
well,
though?
I
That's
don't
it.
know.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know.
thing.
with a good sense of humor.
Yeah, yeah,
You have
yeah.
a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
And the thing that I liked about it was that it weaves in. If you're into politics in any way, it weaves in the crap that goes on in Washington, which it's absurd even in
And
modern
that's
day.
fascinating to
And-
you.
Yeah. And when you weave it in with a killer, it makes it even better
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it almost makes it believable. I mean, we were talking about
Yeah, right.
Trey Radel, who got elected from the radio show. Then he goes to Washington. He gets arrested for cocaine. He gets kicked out of Congress. I mean,
Well,
the
I've
goofy
had
stuff.
several people ask me in both of my books, is all this true? And I said, no, but it could be.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
And we try to cross a very fine line between fiction and reality. And
Well, that line gets blurrier every day.
well, that's right. And that's why my books bring the reader to the question of, wow, it sounds so real. Did this actually
Mhm.
happen?
So when do you think the next one will be out?
Well, it's probably going to be another year. I
Oh.
would suspect by the time you do all the manuscript, the editing, and then it's a process. But you may be in 8 months.
Did-
It might be out there.
Did you see the kerfuffle on Twitter about James Patterson and what he said?
I did not.
Oh, he said in some interview that there's no 51-year-old white authors anymore, and Twitter just went nuts on him because
Yeah.
somebody actually went on the New York Times bestsellers list and proved that there were like 85% white men and
Yeah.
especially coming from him, who's
Yeah.
the richest
Yeah, right. right.
author in all the planet, and he doesn't write it. Not 80% of the books
Well,
he gets out there.
it's changing, and I know that social the media is becoming the platform of choice.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm really not on that so much. So I
You don't
can't
have a
say what-
Facebook account? or
I don't do it
no
on
TikTok?
principle.
No TikTok
I-
videos?
I don't. I'm an old school guy, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Can you
I
imagine
don't.
if you came out with a TikTok video which set the internet on fire?
Well, I don't know.
have you ever played naked pickleball? No?
I haven't even played pickleball.
Okay,
let alone
just want to
naked.
make sure of that because it's going around the
Yeah.
craze.
Oh,
It's
is that
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for coming
Well,
all the way
thank
up
you
from
so
Naples.
much.
Do we owe you
Appreciate
any
it.
money for the tolls or anything, or you're
No.
good on that? I mean,
They came
I'm
up from
I know it's your
Naples.
self-publisher
I'm
and all that.
good. Thank you so much.
All right, Stephen
Thank
McGuire,
you so
everybody.
much.
Please go out and get his book and support local authors. It's Fractured Power. And if you like death and gore in Washington, D.C.,
Oh, and intrigue.
and yes,
and
for sure. It's a political thriller with a cliffhanger.
It's got some good characters in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
down.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
to your secret agent spy wife for
Yeah,
coming down
gotcha.
also.
Thank you much.
All right. Before we get to our final guest here, you're going to have to take care of the tiki tours, and I'm going to have to take care of business. So grab your microphone, your commercials over there, and then we're going to have our last guest. Thank you so much, Judge, and thank you guys for coming down. And go ahead and grab your microphone. Our last guest is going to be the new owner of the Whale, if she can figure this out. Is your mic on?
I don't know. Is
All
it
right,
on
go ahead
again?
and read it.
All right, you know it. Fort Myers Tiki Tours. Fort Myers Tiki Tours. Give them a call at 239-887-0042. I know everybody hates it when I give out the phone number right off the bat, but if I don't, I'll forget. So you can get on a tiki boat over. They take off out of Salty Sam's. You take a nice 90-minute relaxing tour around the bay over there. You might see all sorts of stuff. Sea turtles, we hope, dolphins, maybe a shark, some fish, maybe some manatees. And these things go nice and slow, so the manatees are not in danger whatsoever. Bring your snacks, bring what you'd like to drink. They have the captain and they have the cooler. You can plug in, play your music, you and 5 of your friends. It seats 6. They are amazing people. We went out on Father's Day a couple of years ago. We're not doing that this year, but we did it a couple of years ago, and it was great. Everybody's taking your picture because who wouldn't want to take a picture of a floating tiki boat? So, again, give them a call at 239-887-0042, or you can reach them at FortMyersTikiTours.com, which is really hard for me to read because I didn't have my glasses on. All right, now back to you in the studio. Okay, ready, set, go. Back to you in the studio.
She does such a lovely job. All right, come on back in the studio, dear, all the way from your perch outside the studio. All right, have a
This
seat.
is such a,
Have a seat. Yeah,
great
it's a high
opera-
professional
Yeah,
job here.
Really got this rocking here
In
today.
case you didn't know that. All right, everybody. Greg is here. Greg is one of the new owners from the Whale. And if you read our newsletter yesterday, you saw that the Whale was sold. Marty Harity from Doc Ford sold the Whale to Greg and his partners. Greg, welcome to the show, and make sure you got your microphone on.
Thank you very much
cool.
for having me.
Tell us.
He's got like a radio voice.
I know.
Yeah, I hear that all the time, actually.
Yeah.
So definitely would like to be a guest a lot more frequently.
Tell us about the you and your partner and what you guys did and some history on yourselves.
Yeah, perfect. So we just took over on Wednesday, so it's still new for all of us, everything going forward. So we got a lot of changes we want to make. My partner and I, we've known each other for several years now. I think we're going to be a great duo there because he understands the real estate and the construction part of it, and I'm the restaurant guy. I've been in the restaurant industry for ever since I could pretty much work.
And who's your partner? Did you
his
say
name's Mike Miller.
Okay.
Mike Miller.
Mike, and
Yeah.
you've worked at the Pink Shell and Fresh Catch.
Yeah, I was at the Pink Shell about 8 years ago. I worked a little bit at the Outrigger Resort as well, and I was at Fresh Catch for the previous 8 years.
Now, yesterday when we put out our newsletter, there was we did some research on the taxes and the property values and the new construction on the beach. It was a lot of work put into those. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
They really only cared about the Whale.
Absolutely, and the Whale is it's a legendary place on this beach. It's been a lot of people on this island hold it near and dear to their hearts. We want to put a big facelift on it and get it back to its former glory and just have it go back to being that place where you have great music, great food, great service, great atmosphere, and that's going to be our standard. It is greatness.
Now
Now, do you have any what sort of plans then do you have to change things or keep things the same?
So we have a ton of plans. The question is how much of it we're going to be able to implement, but definitely we want to obviously rebuild that whole upper deck. And it needs it. It needs it bad. We would like to make it kind of a solid structure up there to prevent the weather from ruining our days or nights. Downstairs, we want to try to open it up as much as we can, get some more natural light in there.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a little dungeon down there right now. So we would like to get like some more natural lighting in there, maybe extend that bar out onto that newer downstairs deck. We have some plans for that downstairs deck as well to kind of have it be, instead of some tables out there, maybe kind of put almost like stools along the railing with a
Oh yeah.
so people
Some
can
of the
sit in
other
there, have
places
their
do that,
drinks, have
yeah.
a little space for them to eat, and then also just kind of look out and people watch, which is
You're
always,
thinking
always
about
Yes.
closing in the top?
we
up
would like
top?
to. I mean,
Oh,
like
okay.
again, right now
Somewhere
they
you could still see out. But,
Exactly.
Okay.
they still want to see it, not enclosing it entirely, just basically
Oh,
making
just
it a
the
solid
roofing?
structure and having it
Okay.
shaded all the
When
time.
you said
Yeah, that's good.
return it to its old glory, we haven't been coming down that long. What do you mean by that?
So I would say probably 10 years ago, the Whale was known for, like I said, there was great food there. They had great music all the time. It was a great place to hang out, watch sports, all that kind of thing, all those kind of things. And we want to return it to that. Right now it's a little dilapidated, you could say. It's the outside of the building is, sorry,
That's all.
the outside of the building is it needs a lot of work, and I think that kind of has altered people's viewpoints of it. It's because it hasn't been a lot put into it lately, and I think people just have kind of vetoed it from their spots to go. So
It's hard to find a better location on Fort
Oh.
Myers
Yeah, oh,
Beach
yeah, the
than where
location's
you're
amazing.
located and what's going on. I don't
And
know.
you have parking.
we have parking. We actually have, I believe, the biggest parking lot north of Lani Kai for an individual establishment, I believe.
You have parking?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where?
We got right behind the building.
Oh,
We got
okay.
I want to say probably about 20, 25 parking
Oh,
spots.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I don't know if you've noticed it, but there's a little bit of a construction going on right close to you too,
Sure.
which might help.
Yeah, we know a little bit about what's going
Yeah.
on there. Yeah, that's kind of factored into our plans, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's right next door to the big resort that's going in, and I think that I might be wrong, but the resort is going to kind of have everybody up their game. They're going to put
I
Whatever-
couldn't agree more.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
what do you think the time frame is for some of your changes that you want to implement? Just
I mean, we
getting-
definitely want to do as much as we can as soon as we can, but that probably is closer to our timeline as far as when that's going to be finished.
Right.
We would like to be full systems go by then.
Now the music, is there not music now? And
They don't do any live music right
I
now.
see. I
Mhm.
see. So you're going to add music.
We are definitely going to bring music back. Whether that's going to be back to the full bands like we used to, or solo acts, duo acts, we'd like to implement a little bit of all of that.
Uh-huh.
But I definitely would like to see music there every day.
Yeah.
especially
You're gonna
in
have
the
one of
busier
those
times of the
little
year.
meters so you stay
The
under
decibel
the
levels,
yeah.
yes, exactly. So
What is
that's
that? What are you
the little
talking
meters for the decibel
Yep.
to see how
Oh, I see.
loud. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
they're right
close to
there,
a
yeah.
residential neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The decibel levels is one thing we have to monitor closely. So,
So
that
they'll
will
be on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That'll be one thing that we'll put a lot of emphasis on, of course.
Mhm.
So where you think you'll have it inside or upstairs or wherever you can?
Probably a little of both.
Yeah.
I would like to do a little of both, maybe different times of the day. Like I said, it could be solo acts, could be duo acts.
Yeah.
And the full band's part might be tricky with
Sure.
the decibel level, so we'll have to kind of see how that plays out.
Maybe a podcast or two.
100%.
Yeah, something like
100%.
that.
Well, we were there.
We were there. I
Yeah.
don't know if we did a kind of a Margaritaville update from the second story
Yeah.
there, and like you said, the wind was incredible,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
It
it
was
was knocking
crazy
things
crazy.
down.
Yeah,
and-
so
it was just crazy that
Yeah.
day.
we
though.
lose that
I mean,
upstairs about 100 days out of the year between heat, rain, cold, throughout
yeah.
the year.
I
We
see.
lose. So we really want to for that to be able to sustain itself
the
during any
view, though.
The view is amazing, and
Mhm.
and after that construction you mentioned was going to be done, view will be even better. I
Yeah.
mean, it'll be really a really cool view from up there.
So
we're really excited
yesterday,
about
when
that.
people were ignoring the home prices and the all the work that we put in, and they were mostly paying attention to the whale story, they were talking about specific dishes like chicken and French fries and this and that and the other thing. So what's staying and what's going? And
we're still delving into that, of
dude,
course.
you're
but
sweating like crazy.
I know.
Are you
I just left
okay?
the gym right before I got here.
Oh,
so
where
it's
do you
still-
work out?
I just joined Hammerhead, but I've been going to
I
Bay
see.
Oaks for a long time.
Oh, Bay Oaks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
they're
problem with Bay Oaks is they're closed a lot. So,
Yeah.
so,
Right.
holidays and weekends, it's
Right.
pretty much so.
right. It's a
So I joined
government.
Hammerhead. I'm like, I needed to get to work at it.
It's a
So-
government operation.
You
So
should try
Something.
working out.
I know.
So, but as far as menu items go, I mean, we want to fresh and local are going to be our first and foremost. As far as seafood goes, that's what we want to implement the most of. There's so many phenomenal species of fish that are caught in our local waters that we want to feature and implement on our menu. So obviously availability can be tricky on those sometimes. So we
Mhm.
probably would make it, like it'll say like fresh local sandwich or whatever we may put on there.
There
Sorry.
you go. That's all right.
When you
Pink
work,
Gulf and the pink Gulf
Pink shrimp are going to be
Oh,
massive.
pink
Yeah,
gold.
we have some new recipes for some different shrimp things that we're going to do. So
when you went to the gym today, what'd you work on?
Oh, here
I
we
was
go.
chest and back.
Bench, flat bench, and
I did a little flat
what are
bench,
you
rows.
flat benching?
Here we go.
How much?
I don't max out a lot because
see.
I just
370.
yeah right yeah the 375.
What are you
actually,
like?
very close.
28,
I am 30. Oh god, I don't even know. 35.
35.
Wow.
So you're
Something like
probably
that.
did you? How many times you do 225 today?
I did not work out with 225 today. I was
I
working out
see.
with 195
I see.
today.
How many
So
push-ups
let
can
me-
you do in
wait,
1
let
minute?
me ask.
In 1 minute,
Yeah. 1
45.
minute. 45 in 1 minute.
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah, I think you could do more than that. You're only 35.
So we get people on
I
here
guess
that
so.
go,
We'll have to get everyone out of the whale
Yeah.
and
they-
test that out.
there's your first opening act.
I don't mean to ask. Is this your girlfriend or your wife here?
That is my darling wife over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yes.
I don't mean to
Can
ask you
I
this in
ask-
front of her. Dear,
Well,
calm down a
wait,
second.
wait,
There's
wait,
plenty
wait,
of time.
wait,
There's
wait,
no
wait,
time.
wait. I have a good one. So you said about shrimp
Hmm?
on the thing. Now remind me, because it seems like in 2019 you were the people's choice for the shrimp eating contest. Yeah.
I was. Yes,
Wait, what?
absolutely.
See,
You
See?
won the shrimp eating contest.
So I didn't
No,
win the
he's-
contest. I
he
got
was-
third, but what I was is I'd raised the most money, not to toot my own horn, but by
There,
a long
Go
shot
ahead.
for the Lions Club.
Well, how much did you raise?
I think it was close to $1,000. If I
Nice.
remember right. Yeah.
How did you
And
do
I think
that? Like-
second place was about $40. So it was
Wow.
it was a
Wow.
pretty big difference.
People
there.
were being lazy.
I've been in this community for about 10 years, and
Nice.
I've luckily met a lot of phenomenal people. I think most people probably will recognize me when they see
Yeah.
me. So, I've been a big part of the community, and that's one thing we want to do at the Whale is get really involved with the community again. We want to, all the taste of the beach, any kind of
Putt and
community
putt
events. We want
thing,
to.
all of
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
we want to be involved in all of that because the community is what Mike and I we both love the community here, and we love that we're going to be a part of that.
Now,
We're-
how you feeling about the color scheme of the building right
Oh,
now?
it's going 100%.
All right. What color?
So I mean, it's the Whale. So we want to implement some nautical colors. So we're looking at probably some type of navy-ish type of color. There's a couple color schemes we're doing. We'll accentuate that with some whites or maybe some light grays, that type of thing. But we want it to be have an aquatic feel to it.
And you're keeping the name.
We are absolutely keeping the name for now. Like I said, the Whale has such a history. We want to keep that history. We
Mhm.
just want to make it great again.
How long have you been
back-
married?
I've been married. We will
There
have our
we go.
5th anniversary in December.
Any kids? Yeah.
Wow.
no.
I have 2 boys, but
I see.
yes,
Yeah.
from previous
We don't have
relationships,
to
so-
go into your
Yeah,
history,
no, it's okay.
but unless you want to.
No, that's okay.
no.
Well,
So
Any plans for more?
not at the moment. We both. Yeah, I have a nephew
Yeah.
that we have full custody of as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
There
Okay.
you go.
She's yelling in the background.
Yeah,
here. I didn't hear what she said. So she's taking
She's
full
making
control.
sure I'm, she's
in
making
line.
sure I'm, yeah.
Yeah. How old are
Getting
your
it accurate.
boys?
My older son will be 15 in October, and my younger one is 12.
Are they
yes.
working at the
Wow.
Whale right now?
He will be working at the Whale,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. For
Absolutely.
no pay, right?
No pay, no,
No,
of course not.
So
Child labor.
when you did you do dumbbells too when you were at the gym?
I didn't do any dumbbells today. No,
Just flat
I
bench?
got there a little later than I wanted, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't late
Yeah.
here, so I cut
Did
it
you
a little
shower
short,
after?
but
There's no shower
I did
there.
shower after, but my body it
I
takes about an
see,
hour
yeah.
to cool off.
I hear you.
didn't
I hear
give
you. Happens
myself
to me
tough
too.
time, so.
Yeah. So you didn't do dumbbells. You did flat bench, incline bench,
some rows,
and a
yep,
couple
I did-
machines.
I did some chest flies,
Yeah.
but on a
They-
machine. So
Do you have a membership there, or did you pay for the day?
So Hammerhead, I just joined the membership today. They
Yeah,
set me
what
up
I
on
like
a little
about them
while ago,
is they're open 24 hours. So
Oh,
you
sure.
just
And
put a
it's
code in.
keyless
and-
entry.
yeah.
Yeah, Hammerhead is great.
except for if there's 15 people there, then you're waiting for machines. But
Does
anyway,
all their I'm sure all their stuff works, unlike
it does work.
some other
And it's got everything you need
places.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a huge place, but it's got
Yeah.
everything you need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
We've
it's a
had
good
them on
spot.
the show when they first bought it.
Yeah, that's
but,
right.
So the hours are going to change or going to
Yeah,
stay
we
the
are
same?
definitely going to.
Just so the neighbors know, you're going to be open 24
Absolutely.
hours a day.
Yeah, 24 hours. We can't serve any drinks from 2 to I believe it's 6 a.m. So unfortunately, legally, but we're gonna do
Just
tacos and hot
kidding.
dogs there.
Just
so,
kidding, Primo or whatever. What's road is that? Is that Primo right there?
Right behind, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
we're definitely going to implement some later nights. Might not be for a few months yet. Well, while we get some construction done, do some things like that. I got to make sure I have the staff for it. But we want the number one locals for another place to hang out and drink.
Yeah.
And also for our hospitality staff. We adore our hospitality staff here. A lot of them get off right around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I'd like for them to be able to come and get something where there's a fresh, hot cooked meal
Yeah.
for them. There's myself included, I've been down here a long time. A lot of times after about 9 o'clock, you got either 7-Eleven or Yo Taco are kind of your options.
Mhm.
So we want to make sure that we give someone else
I don't-
give people another.
have you
another-
ever bought anything from that window at the 7-Eleven where they just turn them around? I mean,
It's probably been some years since I have.
I
yes.
I can honestly say nothing in those
The
windows
pizza
Yeah,
ever
or the
looks.
little
You can never be
taquitos.
drunk
Yeah,
enough
you got to
to-
kind of have the rest of your day.
But you know
freed
what
up
it
if you're
is?
gonna
The
eat that
folks-
kind of stuff.
at our 7-Eleven anyway, the folks that are on the landscaping trucks, they love that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
they and that there. I'm not saying anything about any kind of people
I'm just
except
stretching
they're
my
it's they all come in from the landscaping trucks and they take all the food. Like
Yep.
it could be a hot dog, it could be a piece of pizza, it could be those burritos,
Sure.
and how do they not have the runs right away?
I would be surprised if they didn't, but
I'm just
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just saying that I'm telling you that's the truth. It's all they work their
you're
asses
absolutely
off.
right. You're absolutely
Thank you. But somehow that's offensive to you.
Now, somehow it's going to be offensive to
I
somebody.
see. Well,
I would think
that-
it's just quick and convenient,
Yeah.
more so than anything. But,
Yeah.
and it's obviously pretty inexpensive, so I think it's just
Who did you just wave to?
Bonnie.
Oh,
She's known
next
me a
door.
long
Yeah.
time,
So
Next door.
how do you go? What were you doing before you guys bought the Whale?
I was bartending. So I've been in the restaurant industry, like I said earlier, pretty much since I was a teenager, and I've held pretty much every position that you could have in a
Yeah.
restaurant industry. But I've been on the bar side for a while now, and my partner partnered up with me because we met years ago he was a regular of mine, and then we started spending a lot of time outside of work together, and he knows. We've had many conversations, and he knows I have a very intricate knowledge of the restaurant industry forward and back. And
Did you go to
So
restaurant?
wait, I wanted to ask, being that you're a bartender, are you going to create a signature drink? Like,
oh yeah,
are you
definitely,
gonna
definitely. I mean, it's all
Got
this
any
is going to be.
ideas?
Oh yeah, tons.
So
but
Chris wants to know if happy hour is coming back. Like, there's
Absolutely.
no happy hour.
we have no happy hour right now. No happy. And the funny
I don't
thing
think
is, you
I've
go on
ever
our
heard that
you go on our
before.
website right now, and it's happy hour and live music every day. But we don't have either of those.
You
So
might need a new website.
yeah, absolutely. all in the works. Like I said, we took over Wednesday, so a lot of this is
Yeah,
still
come
pretty,
on, man.
pretty
Why?
quick.
What's
Yeah, I
taking
really
you
should
so
have had
long?
everything
For
done
crying
by
out
now, I
loud!
know.
Fix the dang website.
But
I
definitely
mean, my
happy
God,
hour.
Wednesday.
Come
It is
on.
We're
Saturday.
absolutely coming back. We'll have a lot of appetizer specials on there. The drinks will be great value. All that. Again, it's a little tentative exactly what our hours are going to be, but it's probably going to be somewhat similar to what we used to have. I believe it was used to be 2 to 5, so we'll probably do something like that: 2 to 5, 3 to 6, something.
Can you add a hazy beer on the menu?
A hazy beer.
Yeah, yeah.
On draft or-
yeah, draft?
You
would
want
be
it on
great.
draft?
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't like.
And
you
that
don't
is
get the
what is your
personal
request? That you would like to add for next?
I don't drink beer.
I don't know. I've heard
You
that
look
it's
like
good.
you got sunburned today. Your face
No
is all red.
way.
You out running in the sun
I
today?
was. I forgot.
Crazy.
Oh, no.
So, how'd
I'm
you meet your
sweating.
wife?
Funnily enough, I met my wife through Fresh Catch as well.
I
She
see.
came in as a guest with her ex-boyfriend, of course. Now
Oh,
she left with me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
She actually ended up working with me. We actually were a bartending duo for a long time there, but it was about 2 years when we worked together before we actually formed
Now,
a
was she
relationship.
officially broken up with him when you guys got together, or was there some
I'll plead the fifth
crossover?
on that one. So no, I'm
I
just kidding.
see. Yeah. What'd she say? What's she
It's
yelling
a
over there?
family program.
No, it was far from a family program.
But
Like,
it was great. But we developed such a great following through Fresh Catch that they loved to see our story. They knew us both before we were together.
look
and
at
then
these
after we were
people.
together.
You make a great old fashioned. What's an old fashioned?
An old fashioned it's a bourbon drink.
Yeah.
Usually it's kind of it's changed a lot over the years, but typically most people make it now. They'll muddle an orange with some bitters and a cube of sugar, and then they'll throw some ice on it and some bourbon. It's a
Interesting.
delicious
What
drink.
about a cherry? Isn't there a cherry
Yeah,
in
so
that?
so
Whoa.
true old fashioned aficionados will want a Luxardo cherry in there.
Did you hear what she said?
No, I can't
She
hear it
said,
that
"Good
far away
question."
with my cans on. So you made me lose track, dear. How dare you? So have you ever played pickleball?
I've never played it like officially against other people. My little son loves to enjoy. He loves pickleball. So
Your
So don't-
12-year-old
my
son.
12-year-old loves
Yeah.
pickleball. So we will play. We play sometimes over at Bay Oaks. Once everyone else is done,
But they do
we'll
have
play
courts
around.
over there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it mostly an older, like an 80
Yes,
and over
yes.
game or something like that? So have you heard of this? Is your son watching, by the way?
Yeah.
He is
I don't
not.
think you
I don't
should
believe.
segue
All right.
to this.
Because there's this craze going around this naked. Did you see
I
the naked
did see
pickle?
that. Yes,
It's
I did.
second to you. Like the whale was first on our
Yep.
site, and the
I,
naked pickleball thing was second. It's like these people.
I mean, that's pretty
Listen,
entertaining stuff.
I didn't want to say this when Melissa was here, but if I'm in a naked pickleball game, I'm trying to hit somebody in the wanker. I mean, I'm really aiming down. I mean, how can you not? Like, you want to hurt somebody
For
sure. I
sure.
mean, you
I mean-
shouldn't be.
You don't
I
have
wasn't
to
good enough
aim
at
down
pickleball to
because you
aim
just took
anywhere,
this
really,
show right to the ground. You just buried us.
Well, what you don't
Yourself.
want to say on the court when you're playing is,
His
boy, this.
remarks do not reflect anything that I think.
What you don't want to say during a pickleball game, a naked pickleball game, is you don't want to look
Oh, here
across
we
the
go.
court and say, boy, this game is hard.
Yeah, I would be way too distracted to even be able to concentrate. I mean, yeah, that's.
Especially when
Ba-dum-bum.
they're 80 or 85,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
you're running to get the ball and your stuff's still
Yeah,
over there.
I think I'd last for 1 or 2 serves before I quit. I think I'm pretty sure.
So,
Well, this was a new low. Thank you for
You're
joining
actually-
us.
I'm glad I could be here for
I'm
that. Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely.
your wife came up to me before the show and said, "Be sure to bring up the naked pickleball." I don't know why
And
she
she
said
seems
that.
interested. I mean, I don't know. She just wants more opportunity to see me naked. I think.
So, oh,
See,
oh,
they,
she just
how long
made
have
a
you been married?
funny face.
We've been married for 4.5 years.
Oh, yes. See, you still have that chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
there.
So wait a
Absolutely.
second. So our roving reporter who takes the summers off and goes, where does he go? To St. Louis.
Mm.
Did it used to be called the beach whale?
It did. It
Yeah.
did. I'm honestly not 100% sure why they dropped the beach off, the beach part of it off. But I believe that happened 3-4 years ago.
Do you put it back on or you leave it off?
I think we're going to leave it off for now.
Yeah.
Definitely possible. I mean, it was known as beach whale, obviously,
Yeah.
for 20 years. So potentially. But I think right now everyone kind of knows it as the whale. So we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
how that goes.
So are you invested in the business too? Or
Yes,
so
yes,
you're the GM and a part
I'm,
owner?
The managing partner is my technical.
Okay.
Yes.
So Mike and Dawn
Yes.
are also going to be working there, or they're pretty much.
They are they're more of the build. Mike loves construction. He loves
I
real
see.
estate. So he wants to go in there and absolutely
that
do as
part
much as
of it.
possibly
Mhm.
can. Yeah, that's his aspect. He doesn't understand as much about the restaurant, but that's why he partnered
Cool.
with me.
Now,
So-
I wonder if the permitting thing gets in your way with all the changes to the
Sure.
hurricane stuff. If
Yep.
you make changes, so you're trying to wiggle around that. I'm
Well,
sure.
I mean, we're going to do everything by the book, of course.
Yeah,
but,
you made it sound salacious. We're gonna.
But
But
it
it
wiggle
definitely,
around
I'm
that.
sure there's things that we want to do that probably will run into some issues with, but
Yeah.
hopefully the town will work with us as much as we want to work with them
Yeah.
because they,
don't
again-
count on them. Just no, I'm kidding. They're a wonderful
hopefully,
town.
but
yeah.
we'll see. But the building right now, just from the outside, it just looks run down. So
Yeah.
we want to change that.
What
and
is that
so
little
hopefully the
thing
town
that
will
Bill
let us.
Veach did out on the sand there with the
Yeah,
plants?
so I'm still learning about that. Obviously, I guess we're not allowed to build out there anyway, is from what I understand. So they wanted to plant some native plants out there,
Mhm.
but right now nobody really takes care of it or does anything with it. So it's kind of
They're not watered or anything.
Yeah,
aren't there rocks out there? Like, or there's
Yeah,
it
I mean,
grass?
with them
Was
being
it like
native
zero
plants?
scab? zero.
I don't know
zero
what it is. I
skate?
just
With
know
them
he-
being all native, I mean, I would imagine they could survive the climate
Right,
without much
right.
else.
how nice would it
going
to be
on,
able to
but
have tables right there?
I would love that. We
I don't
actually
think-
looked into doing some lounge chairs out there,
Yeah.
some place where people just walk up and
Yeah.
get some service. But it seems like we're not going to be able to do that. But if we're absolutely going to look into all those types of things.
Let me
Are
ask
you
you.
keeping the same footprint? You're not expanding like.
We would love to do any kind of expansions and things like that. Again, it's going to come down to what we're allowed to do. That's
So-
really more of the question.
That's a perfect example of what's the downside to that. To having like little tables out there so people can, really. I'm sure the town would charge you for it, like they charge
Yeah,
these guys out
absolutely.
here. I mean, it's so in the perfect area to people
Sure.
watch.
I mean, I
And
agree. I mean, on our end, there is no downside to it. So it just
Put a
comes
little
to,
fence around it,
Yeah.
so. Anyway, so what do we miss about the Whale? Anything you want people to know? When are you going to be there? When are you going to make whatever that drink was? I can't remember what it was.
the old fashioned.
Old fashioned.
I will have to. I could probably do a good old fashioned still there. Yeah, absolutely. But I just want people to know that Mike and I are very familiar with the history of the Whale, and we want to keep it. We want to keep that vibe that it's always had in the sense of great food, great music, great service, great view, as you mentioned before. We just want to keep. Greatness is going to be our standard. We're not going to accept mediocrity. We're not going to accept even good. We want it. Greatness is going to be the level that we strive for across the board. So I want everyone to know that, and I want everyone to do.
Unlike this show for him. Right? Mediocrity is.
That
his
seems to be
thing.
acceptable here. No, I'm just kidding. Teasing.
What, the employees? You keep all the employees? They're all
Yeah,
up there?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be very excited so far.
Cool.
I mean, they've not to, and I don't mean this in any kind of negative way, but they've somewhat felt neglected a little bit, as far as the building goes and things like that. They've just kind of been on their own, which is understandable, but they're not anymore. We are absolutely going to do everything that we can for them, and I want them
Nice.
to make money. That was the very first thing I told them, that I've been in the trenches for the last 20 years, so I understand exactly what it is, and I want to make sure they're happy and they have everything that they
Right.
need and that they're making money, because I mean, you have a happy staff. They'll
have
not only
happy
take care of your
customers.
business, but they'll take care of their customers, and that's where you start.
I will say, as I said earlier, that I was there. I have been there very few times, but I was there the other day with a friend, and we sat inside. It is dark,
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
but it was cool.
The
it
AC
was
is great
cool.
there, and we're gonna make sure, even if we open it up, we're gonna make sure that the inside has great AC there, because with this time of year, that's just invaluable.
And I will say,
Yeah,
the girl that waited the
Cool Air Pros.
the wait staff
Spit it out.
person
Come on.
she was excellent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
she was so sweet, and we weren't having a big bill, so we tried to tip her well, but she's like, I'm not bothering you, sit as long as you want, and really made us feel comfortable. So I wish I knew her name so I could give her a shout out, but
I'm reading the comments. I do this all the time.
Sure.
Like Mitch, who's a regular in town, everybody knows Mitch. He said that he thinks the name was changed because when a fish or a mammal is beached, it's not a good thing. So I don't know if that's. Oh, here's Lee. Lee says Lee Melsick knows everything about everything because he's been around a long time. A retired cop owned it when Marty bought it. I believe it was the former owner changed the name from the Mermaid Club to Beached Whale. Islanders be fan before calling it Whale. I don't know if that clarifies anything. It confuses me.
I know it was the original Mermaid a long time ago. Yeah, but again, why they dropped the beached off?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
And then Kathy, who's a member of the Garden Club, straightened us out. Kathy Turner said it's a demonstration garden, and the Garden Club takes care of it, and it's mostly town property.
Okay,
So
so there
we
you go.
learned something on this show.
Perfect,
There you go.
perfect. Now I know.
These
Thank
people
you
out there
for
are
straightening them out.
fascinating. Yeah. All right. So thank you. So you know what I was going to say is it's in a perfect spot to be like a community place where the
It is,
locals
and
come.
and that's what we want.
Yeah, so-
100%. Because you know what, we want the locals to be happy with that spot, because the locals will promote us too.
right.
Anytime they have friends coming in town or they meet people, they'll say, "Hey, you got to check out the Whale, because the place is awesome. We go there all the time, and it's great."
Right.
So it only helps everyone.
Explain your last name.
So my last name is very, 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 very old.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have my nephew, who we have legal custody of. His legal name is Edward Ludwig von Krumrig the 21st.
wow.
So it's about 800 years, and it's technically Prussian. So my ancient ancestor was he was a pagan chieftain in the old. Yeah, exactly, before the Teutonic Knights
Wow.
came and everything. And supposedly the way that my one of my other ancestors who wrote a few novels described it was that he essentially, the Teutonic Knights, when they did come to the area, which is now Germany, but when they did come to the area, he became so well respected by them that they made him a lord, and they formed what became known as Prussia at the time, and it's pretty cool stuff. But
Wow.
but
Yeah, that's
we
great.
would need a much longer segment to probably get into more
So
detail.
how
on
do you
that.
say it? How do you say it?
Just von Krumrig.
Is it Von? Like, it's not a middle name. That's part of your last
Yeah,
name.
so in it means house of in German. So and then Krumrig is it's kind of changed a little bit throughout the years. It used to be Kronreich was the most recent. So obviously very very German there, which
Yep.
translates to Crown Rich. So House of Crown Rich. So somebody had a lot of fun in our family history, because I don't know where the
Do you
castles
realize
are.
that-
Where's the
realize-
crown?
Yeah, exactly right.
Do you realize in 20 years that you're not going to remember anything of what you just said, because your memory, if it's like mine, it's all going to go away. All that stuff.
Well,
I have
I'll
no idea
I
what
will
you
take
Prussia
that
and
take that advice. I'll go write everything down to make sure I
Yes.
can at least
Yes.
look back on my memoirs.
you should record it into a little box or
Oh,
something.
well, you
like
have
that.
this great thing.
You can always play this back when your kids are 35
Yeah,
years old.
absolutely. But it's a cool family history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you start when you're bartending? You start laying that on people like?
Oh,
they have
absolutely.
a
It's the
few-
first thing I say.
Nice.
The very first thing. As soon as they sit down, I get into it, and
You're funny.
20
too.
minutes later,
You're-
they get a drink. So
Why do you got to play me like that, bro? With a straight face. Oh, great! Thanks so much for coming in,
Yeah,
and
thanks
thank
for
you
having me.
guys for reaching out, and good
Yeah, of
luck
course.
over there. And we,
I'd love
we hope to come
love
over.
to have you over there.
Yeah,
as
it'd
well,
be great fun. All right, everybody, go visit the whale and see our new friends, Greg von Konglertring.
Close. Better than most. Better than most.
All right, have a great one, and good luck over
Thank you
there.
very much.
much.
I
All right,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. All right, Greg, everybody, big hand from our live studio audience and his lovely wife
Thank
that he met
What's your wife's
when
name
she
again?
Alexandra.
Alexandra von Konglertring.
Yes.
Yes, same
very
last name.
dignified.
All right, you guys.
Very
Thanks for coming
dignified.
out. We appreciate it. All right, take care. All right, dear. Well, that was one hell of a long show, and we had a giant audience, and they're sticking with us right
Oh,
here.
look,
so
they're kissing. We
isn't
don't
that
do that
nice?
anymore.
every time I do that, you turn away. So
that was very nice.
all right. So next weekend we are
They're
gonna.
adorable.
Yes, they are. We're gonna have Matt Caldwell on at 9:00. He
Mhm.
is the Lee County appraiser. And I know most of you people out there only care about the whale and you only care about naked pickleball, but we're going to have Matt on to talk about why the property values have gone up so high. And also back next week will be Karen Woodson. And this race is going to be an interesting race this November. There are now 4 official candidates for 2 open seats. 3 new candidates, so you're guaranteed to have.
There's that math is coming in there. Be careful.
You're guaranteed to have at least one new candidate or town council member next year. Don't forget to go out and get Fractured Power, the new book by Stephen McGuire, our good friend or judge down the street there. And I'm going to let you say goodbye to the guests, dear, and I'm going to make sure.
I'm going to say.
Then you can come back. Because I'm
Okay.
going to tell everybody one more time about Beach Pottery, because it's a little bit slower out there now, folks. So what you should do is go down to Beach Pottery. I wanted to show everybody this. I printed these out, or I pulled these out, and they have their cafe is open. It's called the Pelican's Perch Cafe. It has, as you can see, hot and cold, hot and iced espresso. They have smoothies. They have breakfast sandwiches. They have muffins, cookies, all that healthy stuff right there at the Beach Pottery. So if you're on your way over and you want to stop by and look at pots, you can hang out in that nice little cafe, which is right inside their location there. Look at all that. Look at the nice job Alana did over there. You see they got mini loaves, banana bread, cake pops. I still don't know what a cake pop is. Chocolate chip cookies and peanut butter. It's the Beach Pottery, located at 17980 San Carlos Boulevard. You can call them and ask them any question you like, from the carvings in the back to the pots in the front to the pots out to the side to the pots from Vietnam. Little pots, big pots, medium-sized pots. 437-4211 is the number. 437-4211, and have yourself a little pastry while you're down there, because nothing goes better than shopping for pots than pastry. All right, everybody. This is episode number 223. And as I was saying, next week we have Matt Caldwell on, and he's going to tell us about how the Lee County properties have skyrocketed through the roof. And also, Karen Woodson will be back next week to talk about the town council. She's been pretty quiet up until this point, so we're going to get her on.
We'll have her on next week, see what she has to say.
What is it that you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to say that I thought all the guests today had great senses of humor.
Absolutely.
They rolled with it.
Yeah.
They were very entertaining despite your sideways comments. They kept up and laughed and didn't get offended. So
See, the thing is, I believe, and you disagree, that you have to have some kind of entertainment value to the show.
no, I think
You would
oh, no.
prefer that
No.
there was zero entertainment,
You-
that it was
you
all
make
a
a
question and
mistake.
answer kind of thing.
No, you make a mistake. I think that it should be entertaining. I just disagree with your definition of entertaining.
I see. You don't think that what I do is entertaining. You don't think I should try and sidebar the
I think
judge.
some of the sidebars are okay, and then you just trip at the finish line and you go too far.
Again, with the tripping at the finish
Yeah.
line.
You're falling down all the time.
The naked pickleball thing was bizarre. I mean, the way that the people were they were coming up with their own jokes, and they were, some of them were grossed out by it, and it was just the other thing that was huge was those stingrays that were
yeah,
the
you were
video,
saying that video.
the 20-second video of the stingrays that somebody sent to me. I posted 79,000 views. I mean, that's more views than all of our shows combined. People watching stingrays.
Maybe
so,
we should just start going out swimming with
no, the
in the
videos,
oceans.
the videos that we do of Margaritaville and the videos that we do of the beach, people love those things. The show, not so much. So, I mean, we get the picture. We understand. I do the show for me. Nobody else. I do the show for me. And yeah, I like the guests. Like, I don't know what the story is with the Captiva Spirits people. I mean, I thought we had a good show with them last week, but they won't respond to any of our.
Dear, they're busy. They were out doing all sorts of events and like competitions with their spirits.
Could get back to us.
You didn't. You get your feelings hurt way too easily.
No, I don't get my feelings hurt. All right, everybody, we got to get out of here because we're going to be in Gulf Coast tonight at that. What's the name of that restaurant?
P.F. Chang's.
P.F. Chang's. Yes, my sister's 50th birthday has just come and gone, and she's going
she just slammed her phone down.
50 years old. She officially went over the hill at 50 years old. Well, isn't that true? I mean, don't we feel like we're over the hill?
No.
Yeah,
50
you do.
is the new 40.
Okay. So we're going to be at the P.F. Chang. So if you're out in Gulf Coast and you want to see Kim's hair really boof up,
Yeah, it'll be better.
we'll see you next week for episode number 224, which is closer to 250, which is really closer to 500. But you
Okay.
do your own math at home, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in, all 49 of you, and you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.